round the straight to the south curve, and Graham Hill sends up a smoke signal as he spins, fortunately clear of the field. Round the bend, it's Clark, Hulme, McLaren, Surtees, Gurney, Stewart, with Brabham and Eamon not far behind. Bringing up the rear behind the Formula 2 cars is a sad and sorry Hill as the field roars away along the back straight to the north curve and out into the country for the first time. At Flugplatz, Hulme, in second place, is the first to get really airborne. Gurney has passed Surtees into fourth. At Arenberg, there's no change and nothing much between the first 8. Now Adenauer Forst. Coming up to Exmuller now. Gurney is pushing McLaren hard for third place, and there's the signal to pass. Brabham gets by as well before Carousel, where it's still the Lotus, with Clark taking his pole position as right of entry. Then Hulme. Gurney. Brabham. McLaren. Surtees. And Stewart. And that's the order as they come back through the pits with one of the 15 laps completed in 8 minutes, 22.5 seconds. 163.625 kilometers per hour. Nearly 2 seconds faster than Clark's 1965 lap record. And don't forget, the chicane's been added since then. Clark has built up a 1.5 second lead and seems to be pulling away with the Lotus power-weight ratio making itself felt. Stewart is ahead of Surtees, and Eamon, 8th, waits his opportunity. Through the pits again, and the first 3 are widening the gap, but Hulme and Gurney are reducing the Lotus lead. Eamon, 7th, is now ahead of Surtees. Hill, in spite of his troubles, has passed Ligier and is second from the tail. That's a Formula 2 car behind. First into the pits is Joe Siffert in Rob Walker's Cooper. A second or so later, Chris Irwin comes in. The Parnell H16 BRM has a Commodore Garden puncture.
Rinsed and fenced. You saw him stop right the goal.
But poor Siffert has burst a hose with an obvious loss of coolant. Irwin's away in 2 minutes, but it takes 15 to clear up Siffert's mess. Over the bump which puts the Flug in Flugplatz come the leaders. They must love each other dearly to stay that close. McLaren is now past Brabham, and they're dicing it out for 4th place. Stewart is 6th. Eamon 7th. Surtees 8th.
On this third lap, the order was unchanged. Great class.
Now Hill is ahead of Bonnier, and with Irwin and Siffert having pit stops, is up to 13th place. Gurney are right up with Clark now. Jim seems far from happy, but is motoring fast enough to hold him off. The Honda, flying when it's dull, overheats and loses power when the sun comes out. A bit hard on a car from the land of the rising sun. At the end of the third tour, Spence comes in with transmission trouble. Still incarcerated, Siffert offers condolences. It's no good looking at it, mate. It just won't work. A shattered crown and pinion causes the first retirement of the race. Up and over at Flugplatz. And Hulme has the lead from Clark. What's wrong with Jim, the crowd asked. At Adenauer-Forst, Gurney is through as well, and Clark is nowhere to be seen. Brabham is third. Stewart, fourth. At Brunchen, Gurney has taken Hulme, and the Eagle's beak is pecking at no one's exhaust. And Clark, limping home, is passed by Rindt, now lying eighth. Rodriguez is ninth in the other works Cooper. Hill is now the lone hope of Lotus. McLaren on the other Eagle also goes out on the fourth. Quite a lap. Gurney 3 seconds up as the fifth begins, having broken Jim Clark's lap record with 8:21.8 on lap 3. Incredibly, Jackie Ickx in the Formula 2 Matra has passed Eamon and Surtees to take fifth overall. Rindt is eighth, but not for long. Watch him fight the car. He's in steering trouble. At the end of the back straight, he retires. And Clark is in for keeps. The Lotus was getting harder to handle all the time. A slow puncture the cause, and now, as a result, a suspension rocker arm is bent. With Clark goes Colin Chapman's brightest hope. The two Jacks, Brabham and Stewart, are still nose to tail, but the impudent, some think imprudent, Ickx is coming up at a rate of knots. Lap 6. The first two are in the same order. Gurney has broken the lap record again with 8:18.2 and pulled up another 5 seconds. Stewart has got ahead of Brabham and is now third. But not for long. Soon he's out with a broken crown wheel way out in the country. Kana, BMW, is 10th. Hill has moved to 11th. And there's Rindt's Cooper, out for the duration. But still it's Gurney all the way. This is the fastest lap, 8:15.1, over 103 miles an hour. The Brabhams can't keep up. Ickx and Eamon. The bumps and bangs are tearing at the cars. Suspension breakdowns are frequent, and who could wonder at it? Graham's in trouble and motoring slowly with a wobbly wheel. Rodriguez has a bottom wishbone ball joint shattered. Hill's trouble is quickly diagnosed, a loose front wheel. The things that can happen in motor racing. It's soon fixed. Lotus are still in the race. Rodriguez takes some 15 minutes of rush work to get him motoring, but that's better than poor Rindt. John Cooper's hopes of an outright win have faded, but he's never the man to admit it. After all, anything can happen in this game. Gurney's record lap has put him 15 seconds up on Denny Hulme. Jack Brabham has the impudent Ickx right up his exhaust pipes at this stage, and behind them, the lone Ferrari is catching up fast. Lap 7, and no change in the race order. Graham is still soldiering on, but without hope or confidence. As lap 8 begins, Gurney is 22 seconds up. Eamon has passed Ickx and is pushing Brabham hard. It's wheel tip to wheel tip along the straight, but the Ferrari hasn't quite got the steam to make it. long way behind, Surtees, 5th now among the big bangers, 6th overall. For Jackie Stewart, the long walk home is over, but life has its compensations.
Oh, they just dragged me the whole way, both sides. But I took about a lap and 3/4 to get past Surtees.
Yeah.
You know,
It's well downhill there, doesn't it?
yeah, but you know, it's one side, the other side, they were waving blue flags.
29 seconds up now, Gurney roars past to start lap 9. Still, the Brabham and the Ferrari are tied together with string. Joe Bonnier is enjoying a private battle with a Formula 2 job. But for Hill and Lotus, the race is run. A suspension bolt had come adrift and done the works no good at all. So ends his unhappy day. I've had a whole season of incidents packed into just one Grand Prix, is reported as saying. Anyway, the Lotus is only good for the dead car park, and it's no good making excuses. You know you broke it. Lap 10 begins. Chris Irwin is in with a broken clutch. Putting fuel in against the rules costs Tim Parnell 200 Deutschmarks fine. But by cannibalizing Spence's car, they get Irwin back into the race with only 1 lap lost. Turner has had a long walk back when his suspension collapsed out in the country. When this sort of thing happens, the life of a team manager seems hard, but the driver always finds something to fill in the time. Ix's gallant drive ends with a front suspension bracket offered as a sacrifice to the gods of Nürburgring. Dan Gurney, now 45 seconds ahead, seems unassailable. But this 13th lap, only 2 to go, is to be his unlucky one. His gallant drive ends as the Eagle's drive shaft breaks. And at Schwalbenschwanz, it's Halm who comes through first. 46 seconds ahead of his teammate and Eamon, still dicing together. The Honda, in 4th place, is 73 seconds behind. More trouble for Sippert. Fuel again. Sippert arrives back and a petrol pump fault is diagnosed. It doesn't take long to fix.
Number 14.
Irwin is back in the race by courtesy of the Spence Spare Part Agency. He's 2 laps down. So is Pedro Rodriguez, who's 9th. Joe Bonnier is 6th. Ligier 7th, 2 laps adrift. Holm starts the last lap. Brabham and Eamon 43 seconds behind. So it's Repco Brabham in 1st and 2nd places, Ferrari 3rd, and Honda a poor 4th. Down the straight for the last time. The chicane, the only hazard to the checkered flag. Off the Ferrari, so it's a Repco Brabham day with the boys from Down Under well on top, and Denny Halm the winner of the 29th Grosser Preis von Deutschland. It took a top car and a top driver to do it. The top ringmaster of 1967.
der hier auf den 50 Plätzen.
Congratulations, Dennis. Well done, Dennis Holmes. Well done, the Bavons.